Jazz Scene Buffalo, sponsored by Constance Caldwell, licensed real estate salesperson at Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, and Offbeat Cinema, Saturdays at midnight on WBBC TV and video on demand on our YouTube channel. Info at offbeatcinema.tv.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us at Jazz Scene Buffalo, the show that gives you a mere glimpse into America's classical music from our hometown. My name is Constance Caldwell, and it gives me great pleasure to present and introduce Western New York's first call musicians, educators, band leaders, and some jazz-related intrigue. On the scene today is a fully tenured jazz piano legend, George Caldwell. Mississippi-born and world-traveled several times over, George has filled the piano chair of America's greatest jazz bands, the Count Basie Orchestra and Duke Ellington Orchestra, before settling here in Western New York. Lucky us to be welcoming the George Caldwell Sextet. You ready, honey?
Looking to buy or sell your dream home? Look no further. With experience, knowledge, and a passion for helping clients achieve their goals, Constance Caldwell is ready to guide you every step of the way. From stunning listings of your home to personalized service, Constance will help make your real estate dreams a reality. Contact Connie today at 716-602-1290 to make your next move a satisfying success.
I'm Constance Caldwell, and I approve this message.
Calling all beatniks.
Looking for offbeat cinema swag? We've got it.
T-shirts, 20-ounce classic coffee mugs, hats, more hats, stickers, and more.
Man, like this is commercialism.
Cats, do we have Offbeat Cinema swag? Well, as a matter of fact, we do.
Get with the in-crowd. Order your Offbeat Cinema merchandise today. Just go to offbeatcinema.tv for details.
Hello, I'm Jack Nossavage on the Jazz Scene Buffalo, and I'm here with George Caldwell, the featured artist for this episode. George, how are you?
Hey,
It
good,
was a
man.
beautiful set of music, man. Looking forward to hearing more.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad to have been able to contribute.
Absolutely. So I think I'd like to go through and talk a little bit about your upbringing and how you ended up here in Buffalo. So you were born in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. The Mississippi Delta. It's about maybe an hour outside of southeast of Memphis,
Okay.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah. And you spent a lot of time in Memphis too when you were coming up.
Oh yeah, because when I was in high school, I started studying piano at Memphis State. So my dad would take me over on the weekends to my Aunt Clara's house and go from there to my piano lesson and then pick me up later.
Yeah. You had a large family as well. Was there a lot of musicians or a lot of music around?
Well, not so big. Well, I have two older brothers and one older sister. The older brothers are years older than both of us, so my sister and I were like this always.
Yeah.
She's only a year older than me, so. And when I first started grade school, I was skipped to the third grade, and so I caught up with her. So we were always in class together.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Very close.
And now in Memphis, when you were coming up, were there a couple musicians who stood out, maybe took you under their wing?
Oh yeah, yes. My best friend when I was at Memphis State is a guy named Rudy Gardner, and he was a clarinetist and flautist and a whole lot of other things. He was a very, very talented guy, very, very bright. And his dad was a guy named Robert Gardner, who had a radio show on WDIA, which you remember was the first black radio station in America. And so I would go over to their house. I was like another son, and I'd always play for him. He'd always ask me to play for him, and he'd always ask me if I ever would play jazz. Did you ever try to play jazz? No, sir, I could never do that. You know? And then he started a school, and he and a saxophonist from Texas named Fred Ford. They performed. They were. Robert Gardner was his radio name was Honeymoon Gardner, and he and Fred performed all around Memphis. They were like big stars in Memphis. So, and so when he started the school, I started studying under him. Yeah, he was the first guy to kind of take me under his wing.
Yeah.
My dad taught me some stuff too. He played piano as well. He played piano and trumpet and other instruments,
Yeah, so a lot of music.
Yeah.
So moving past that, I know as you got older, you eventually decided to go to school for music.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I first, because my highest scores were in SAT and all those, national merit thing, was in English.
Okay.
My high scores were in English. And so I was thinking about majoring in that, and then I thought about chemistry because my dad taught chemistry, and then I eventually settled on music because I had been doing it for a long time, and I started making serious progress in it, after a while. So yeah, so I got a scholarship, you know.
Yeah. Did you come in contact with any musicians around that time?
Oh yeah, many people. When I first started, when I graduated high school, and I went to Memphis State University, which is now called the University of Memphis. But I was there with other musicians, Memphis musicians, who ascended to the top of the
quite a lot of
jazz
famous
scene.
musicians came out of Memphis.
Yes.
Yeah.
James Williams was a pianist and composer. He played with Art Blakey and then eventually with everybody. And he was the first to leave. He didn't even graduate. He left, and he left to go and teach at Berkeley in Boston.
Yeah, I know.
And,
Harold Mayburn was another
Harold
Memphis
Mayburn, George Coleman.
The Newborn brothers.
Yeah, the Newborn Calvin
and Finest.
Finest.
You knew Finest, right?
Yeah, I knew both of them. Yeah. In fact, I first met Calvin because I used to play with this saxophonist named Herman Green. James Williams, Mulgrew Miller, Donald Brown, and I all went through his band.
Oh, wow.
And Bill Mobley is another trumpet player our age, you know, speaking of James and those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And after that, I know you spent a bit of time at Oberlin.
Yeah, yes.
Came in contact with some more artists.
Yeah.
Sir Roland Hanna.
Yeah. Well, Wendell Logan was the guy who pretty much built the jazz department at Oberlin. He was there for 35 years. Wow. And he not only got a jazz major established at, you know, a traditionally classical school conservatory. He actually got a jazz building built there.
Oh wow!
So yeah. So he always had famous people coming through. So I met. Well, I didn't get to meet Keith Jarrett, but I did go to school with his brother. His brother was in school at Oberlin, and I met Sir Roland Hanna. I met Abraham Laboriel, who may not be as well known, but he was huge in the LA recording scene. Yeah. You know, not just in jazz, but in, you know, world music and like that. Yeah.
And so after Oberlin, you ended up in New York City.
Yeah. Well, right after Oberlin, I went back to Memphis because one of my mentors in Memphis wanted to write a jazz musical, so we did that, and that's when I actually my career started, I guess. Bill Easley hired me for my first jazz gig at Bill's Twilight Lounge. Yeah.
Another Western New Yorker from Olean.
Yeah, from Olean.
And he was behind a fateful phone call.
Yes, yeah. Bill left when he left Memphis. He went to New York, and he got the second alto chair in the Ellington Orchestra under his son Mercer, and they had done a show called Sophisticated Ladies on Broadway, which was just staging with dance and costumes and lights and all that. Some of Ellington's most famous, best known, you know, compositions, and so they won a Tony Award for it, and so they started touring around. And then the guy that was playing piano, Leonard Oxley, was kind of a Broadway steady guy. I mean, he was a great jazz pianist, but he did a lot of Broadway stuff there. Anyway, so he decided he wanted to go back to New York, you know, to be available for something that was coming up. Yeah. And so they were looking, and Mercer was looking for another piano player. And this is what he told me. He said, "Oh yeah, I know the guy that called." He said, "You need to call George Caldwell."
And sure enough,
unknown to me,
called.
He called me, and I had no idea he was even going to call me. Yeah. So I thought it was a guy making fun of me, or you know, playing a joke on me. I thought it was somebody I knew when he called me. You know, he goes, I answered the phone, and he goes, "Is this George Caldwell?" I said, "Yes, it is." And he goes, "Is this the George Caldwell?" And I'm annoyed because I think it's somebody playing a joke on somebody I know, and I'm supposed to meet some of the guys from my band. We're going to meet and have a burger and a beer, you know. Anyway, so I'm itching to get up there, and I said, so I'm like, yeah. this is the George Caldwell. And he said, oh, the George Caldwell. Oh my gosh, like that. And he goes on about it. And then I was like, who is this?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, this is Mercer Ellington. And I go, yeah, right. And he goes on for a while, and finally I just said, click, I hung up on it.
Yeah.
And I went and had a burger.
Yeah. Luckily he called back though, right?
Yeah. Well, Bill called me the next day and said, did Mercer call you? And then, the light went on. I was like, oh my God.
Oh no, what'd you do? Yeah. Man.
But he was nice about it. They eventually hired me. So
yeah. Well, I look forward to talking a little bit more shortly on. But thank you for a little bit of that history, and it's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah. Well, same. I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah.
Always.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Looking to buy or sell your dream home? Look no further. With experience, knowledge, and a passion for helping clients achieve their goals, Constance Caldwell is ready to guide you every step of the way. From stunning listings of your home to personalized service, Constance will help make your real estate dreams a reality. Contact Connie today at 716-602-1290 to make your next move a satisfying success.
I'm Constance Caldwell, and I approve this message.
Calling all beatniks.
Looking for offbeat cinema swag? We've got it.
T-shirts, 20-ounce classic coffee mugs, hats, more hats, stickers, and more.
Man, like this is commercialism.
Cats, do we have offbeat cinema swag? Well, as a matter of fact, we do.
Get with the in crowd. Order your Offbeat Cinema merchandise today. Just go to offbeatcinema.tv for details.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We are honored to be here for this occasion. So the first tune that we played, the only tune that we played, is a composition by pianist-composer Donald Brown, who worked with Art Blakey, Freddie Hubbard, among so many others. And this is Donald's portrait of New York City, aptly entitled New York. And before we go any further, I'd like to introduce you to the members of the band. On saxophone, Elliot Scozzaro. And with us on trumpet, Tim Clarke. And on trombone, the number 2, John Hasselback. And assisting us on drums is Sean Jefferson. Another section mate, Joe Goehle on bass. Thank you very much. You've been listening to the George Caldwell Sextet. I'm George Caldwell. And we'd like to continue with a composition by Bobby Watson's wife, Pamela Watson, who is a wonderful composer. And she wrote this song, which was recorded by Roy Hargrove. And the title of this is Once Forgotten.
George, we're just talking about your time with Count Basie, or the Count Basie Orchestra, rather.
Oh yes, yeah, that was quite a time. I felt like, you know, the time that I spent with them was a training that was essential, and that going through those years, I became a true jazz musician. You know, I felt like what's his name said. He told me, he said, "Yeah, you're a real Rhodes Scholar now."
A Rhodes Scholar.
Like being on the road
That's
type
good.
Rhodes Scholar. Yeah, but so traveled around the world many times, played with so many people, Dizzy Gillespie, more people than I can say right at this time that I can even remember. But and also at the same time though, when we had time off, we were on the road maybe usually around 30 weeks out of the year. You know, some years even more, 30, 40 weeks like that. But so I supplemented my income by moonlighting on Broadway, playing Broadway shows. So as a result, I met this guy named Danny Holgate, who was really huge in the black theater scene. He was one of the creators and arrangers of Bubbling Brown Sugar, which was one of the biggest, African American theater hits on Broadway in its time. And so to make a long story short, he had arranged some music for a show called Cooking at the Cookery, which was kind of a biography about the life of Alberta Hunter, the blues singer from the 20s. And so he passed that on to me, kind of out of the blue. And so after I got out of the Basie band, I still would get calls to do Cooking at the Cookery. And so we were touring it, and we came to Buffalo. And so we came to the old Studio Arena Theater. So I actually met the woman who is now my wife of 15 years now. And she was doing the marketing. She was writing some of the publicity for shows there. And so, you know, I met her, she kind of knocked my eyes out, you know, and then later she knocked my socks off, so blind and barefoot, we hooked up, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
So that's how I came to live here. And one thing about living here, which nobody here that I tell that seems to understand, it's very much like living in Memphis.
Okay.
The feel of it is very much like living in Memphis. They're both river towns. They both have illustrious history, you know, and they both were really affected by the globalization that happened in the 70s. And so all the towns, they went down financially, and then they came back up, and so,
Kind of followed the same timeline that
Yeah. So it feels much like, and to the point that where we live is the house that we live in now looks very much like my grandmother's, one of her best friend's houses that we used to go to visit.
Really?
Yeah. Our house looks like Miss Melba's house in Memphis,
Man. Wherever you go, there you are. Right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So after being on the road with so many of these incredible musicians, I mean, we spoke about the Basie band, and I know that band in particular, I mean, there was great opportunities to play with guys like Joe Williams and, some of these incredible, icons of this music.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit about how Buffalo stacks up, in your opinion?
Buffalo is quite remarkable artistically and culturally. There's so much happening here. I mean, a town this size, you know, it's like crazy. It's like it's far and above. I knew nothing about it when I got here, and then I found out as I continue to live here. It's very remarkable. It's rich. The culture here is very rich.
Looking to buy or sell your dream home? Look no further. With experience, knowledge, and a passion for helping clients achieve their goals, Constance Caldwell is ready to guide you every step of the way. From stunning listings of your home to personalized service, Constance will help make your real estate dreams a reality. Contact Connie today at 716-602-1290 to make your next move a satisfying success.
I'm Constance Caldwell, and I approve this message.
Calling all beatniks.
Looking for offbeat cinema swag? We've got it.
T-shirts, 20-ounce classic coffee mugs, hats, more hats, stickers, and more.
Man, like this is commercialism.
Cats, do we have offbeat cinema swag? Well, as a matter of fact, we do.
Get with the in crowd. Order your Offbeat Cinema merchandise today. Just go to offbeatcinema.tv for details.
Oh man, that was just extraordinary. That was so much fun. Beautiful guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining us at Jazz Scene Buffalo. We hope we left you wanting more. And until next time, visit GeorgeCaldwellJazz.com and get out and be seen on the jazz scene in Buffalo. Thank you.
Jazz Scene Buffalo, sponsored by Constance Caldwell, licensed real estate salesperson at Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, and Offbeat Cinema, Saturdays at midnight on WBBZ TV and video on demand on our YouTube channel. Info at offbeatcinema.tv.